scoreline in association with 1xBet.
1xBet! High odds! 1xBet! Fast pay! 1xBet! 1xBet!
Bookmaker Company.
Welcome back. It's KTN Scoreline, and we're talking what is happening in the world of sports. Right now, we will go to Robinson, Kenya. The 2018 edition of the Standard Marathon has been a spicy affair. I know a lot of people there. The day actually was a messy affair because a lot of roads were closed earlier in the morning. But now maybe the roads are clear and people can go to their various workplace or the various places that they need to visit. But Elisha Kiprop and Jocelyn Chepkoech are the winners of the men's marathon, the 42 kilometers edition of the 2018 Standard Marathon. Now, Robinson Kenya was there the earlier part of the morning. Kenya, what exactly transpired there, and what are these winners getting after toiling and saying that they have been able to do what they do best, and that is run with the aim of winning and with the aim of raising the money that will be helping the Seeing is Believing initiative?
A very good afternoon to you, Moses Wahisi. Now, we are at Uhuru Park. It is a bit chilly. This is where the 15th edition of the Standard Nairobi Marathon started. Behind me, that is the finish line. That is where we had all the races that were in this year's edition come to an end. That is the finishing point. Also, that's where we had the starting point in the morning when the races were taking off. That is the 42-kilometer race, the 21-kilometer race, but the 10-kilometer race took off from a different place. That is Haile Selassie in the Uhuru Highway. That was in the morning at around 8:30 a.m. But up to this moment, all the races have come to an end. Now, remember, it was almost a record 25,000 participants turned out for this year's edition of the Standard Nairobi Marathon. Now, this is not the only Standard Marathon that we have in the world. There are 10 other marathons we have. We have the Mumbai, Standard Mumbai. There is the Dubai edition. There is the Kuala Lumpur edition. We have the Singapore edition, the Hong Kong edition, and Nairobi happens to be among the biggest Standard marathons that we have in the world. Now, Nairobians, brave the chilly morning, the cold weather that we had in the morning to take part in this race. And of course, everybody was looking at the 42-kilometer race. Who will come out as the winner? Who will walk home with the 1.5 million Kenya shillings that is awarded to the winner? Of course, also taking a look at the 21-kilometer race, who's going to go home with the 650,000 Kenya shillings that is awarded to the winner. Remember, last year, the race was held at the Railways Club. Today, the start and finish was at Uhuru Park. So, and a number of roads were closed here in Nairobi to aid that. Remember, the athletes had to go all the way to General Motors, that is on Mombasa Road, come back to the city before getting to the finishing points. We followed all that closely. And after running for the 42 kilometers, remember, we had 6 categories in this year's edition. So, after running for all 42, rather the winners of the 42-kilometer race that we had in the men's category, we had Elisha Kiprop, who clocked a time of 2 hours, 14 minutes and 19 seconds. Remember, this is the is coming from taking part in the Minnesota Marathon, and the time that he put in this year is 1 minute more than the time that we saw last year that was put in by Bremen. So this, we spoke to him after the marathon, and this is what he had to say.
Sikufikiria kama naweza shinda kwa sababu wanariadha wa Kenya walikuwa wengi hapa. Unajua hapa ni nyumbani sasa. Very competitive sana. Baada ya kumaliza hii ya US nikasema acha nikuje nikimbie Nairobi. Kwa sababu hii ndio ilinifungulia njia ya kwenda US, nikasema acha nirudi nikimbie.
Now, coming in the second position, that is the men's 42-kilometer race, was Julius Kiprono, who clocked 2 hours, 15 minutes, 0.1 seconds. And then we had Patrick Cheriot finish with a time of 2 hours, 15 minutes and 0.8 seconds. Those are the second and third finishers, respectively, in the men's 42-kilometer race. We also spoke to them. We had to get from them, if they were participating in this edition of the Standard Marathon for the first time, and what their plans are for the future. And this is what they said.
Nilikuwa natarajia kuchukua namba kwanza, lakini kwa mwezi wa Mungu nimejaribu mpaka hapo.
Mpinzani uliona ukiwaje?
Ilikuwa kwa 33.
Ndio mara yako ya kwanza kukimbia Stanchart?
Yeah.
Unaona mbio zikoaje Stanchart ukiziangalia?
Naona hii mbio sio mbaya, ni mzuri sana.
So umemaliza namba 2 kutoka hapa, sasa tutarajia kuona wapi?
Sasa hii ndio naenda kukaa ndio nione mahali penye nitaprepare kukimbia nao.
Now, the Stanchart Nairobi Marathon is one of the biggest single-day sporting events that we have in the country. And remember, we have already taken a look at who emerged victorious in the men's marathon. We want to go to the women's marathon, that is the 42-kilometer. And remember, last year we had Celestine Jepchirchir emerge as the winner. But this year, it is all different. We have a new winner in the women's full marathon, and that is Josephine Chepkoech. Remember, she came in a time of 2 hours, 33.10 seconds, emerging victorious, taking over from last year's winner, that is Celestine Jepchirchir. This year, we have Josephine Chepkoech, who comes out as the winner. Now, in number 2, in the second position, we had Sylvia Jerop, who comes from a family that has some athletics roots, and we also spoke to her. She clocked a time of 2 hours, 34 minutes and 12 seconds. We spoke to her, and she told her of how elated she was to come in and in the second position after her first attempt. This is the first time she's taking part in this marathon, and she managed to come in the second position. In the third position, we had Joy Kemuma, who clocked 2 hours, 34 minutes and 52 seconds. Also was taking she was taking part in this race for the first time. So these are the sentiments of the first, second and third position finishers, what they had to say respectively.
Ilikuwa mzuri sana. Mungu amenisaidia mpaka nimekimbia mzuri. Nashukuru Mungu. Anga ilikuwa mzuri tukianza, but vile tulimaliza joto kidogo ikaanza nimekimbia Chemsusudam half marathon peke yake.
Ilikuwa ngumu lakini niling'ang'ana.
Mbona tarajia nikauta mara 3?
Sikutarajia kabisa, hii ni mara ya kwanza ukimbia marathon.
So unasikia marathon ikiwa aje?
Ilikuwa mbaya sana.
Race haikuwa mbaya. Nashukuru Mungu nimekuwa namba 2 na niwafurahishe kidogo. Namba 2 Berlin ni kazini yangu, mwenye amebeba leo ni kazini yangu. So nashukuru Mungu tumekuwa tuking'ang'ana kwa familia.
Unajisikia ukitoka familia unakimbia hivi na mna compete against each other?
Nafurahi sana kwa sababu kwa familia yetu, kama mamangu alikuwa anakimbia na mzee wangu amekuwa akinipea motisha kwamba unaweza fanya standard, unaweza enda kujaribu, na nashukuru Mungu nimeweza kubeba kwa namba 2 standard marathon. Ni mara yangu ya kwanza.
Na unajisikiaje ati mzee alikuambia unaanza jaribu standard alafu kama zao?
Nashukuru mzee wangu amekuwa na mimi all the way, fenye nilibeba Kaptagat half, nikabeba Chemususu na nikakuwa namba 3 Laikipia. So imekuwa maajabu kwamba nimekimbia standard na nimekuwa namba 2.
Those are the sentiments of the winners in the women's category of the 42-kilometer race that took place here in Nairobi. Now let's shift and go to the 21-kilometer. Remember, Athletics Kenya say that there will be chips to monitor the athletes that are taking part in these races. Remember, in 2015, we had a situation where we had an athlete get into the race midway and went on to win that race. Of course, that was overturned later on, and the victory given to somebody else. But so to cap this, they had chips on the body of some of the elite athletes that took part in these races. And we want to shift gears. Let's get into the 21-kilometer category. We start with the women's race, and fresh from winning in Beijing, Valerie Jemeli Ayabei was victorious in the women's 21-kilometer, clocking a time of 1 hour 12 minutes and 6 seconds. She won that ahead of Kimais Irene Jepchumba, who had 1 hour 13 minutes and 40 seconds, and then Sylvia Chebiwot Kibet finished third in a time of 1 hour 14 minutes and 9 seconds.
Shindano ya leo ilikuwa mzuri, wata ilikuwa mzuri na kosi ilikuwa mzuri. So last month nilikutoka marathon, sasa uwezi ukarudia marathon nyingine. Nafurahia sababu hii ni pato mazoezi na kusaidia seeing is believing.
Now, from the women's 21-kilometer race, that is the half marathon, let's move and let's take a look at the men's 21-kilometer. And we had Matthew Kiprotich Kimutai coming in as the winner. He's cut the tape in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 57 seconds. And coming in the second place, we had Paul Kibet, who clocked 1 hour, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. And then James Kiplagat came in the third position with 1 hour, 5 minutes and 33 position. We spoke to them after the race. Of course, they told us some of them are taking part in this race for the first time and what their ambitions are after winning today's half marathon.
Pesa leo silikuwa sawa, weta ilikuwa sawa. Sio mara yangu ya kwanza nikiwin. Nimeiwin. Hapa.
Umeshinda lini na lini?
Nimeshinda 2012, 2011 nikakuja namba 2, 2013 nikakuja namba 3. Alafu leo nikawin.
Kuja kwa race ya leo ulikuwa unaona competition ingekuaje?
Ilikuwa sawa. Nilikuwa sawa.
Ulikuwa unatarajia kushinda?
Nilikuwa najua nitashinda.
Na ulichukua uongozi kutoka after kilometers ngapi?
Ilikuwa 33 minutes. Ndio nikaanza kutoroka sasa.
Let's move from the 21-kilometer, that is the half marathon. Let's get into the 10-kilometer race that took part this morning. And remember, we are here at the Uhuru Park, where the finish of the races was all the races that were, all the races that we had here. This is where the finishing point was at Uhuru Park, but the prize giving was at the Railways Club. But let's take a look at the 10-kilometer race and who emerged the winner in both the men and the women's category. We begin with the men's category, where we have Josephat Kiprotich, who emerged victorious in a time of 27 minutes 16 seconds, followed by Shadrach Korir and Jairus Birech.
Race imekuwa mzuri, water imekuwa climate imekuwa sawa. Ikinyesha hajakuwa na jua mingi, at least nimeenjoy.
So hii ni mara yako ya kwanza kushiriki stand chart?
Ni mara yangu ya kwanza kushiriki stand chart. Kwanza hii ni mbio yangu ya kwanza kubwa nimeshiriki.
Ni mbio gani ambazo umeshiriki huku ndani?
Nimeriji race kidogo, nilikimbia Tagoreti, ilikuwa first edition, nimekimbia Kakamega, Kariza, 10K yote. Na alafu pia nimekimbia Parklands 10K.
Haikuwa mbaya, nafurahi, nashukuru Mungu.
Unaona upinzani wako, uliona upinzani ukiwaje?
Haikuwa mbaya, ilikuwa mzuri.
Na kwa mbio za leo nani ulikuwa unaona ndiye atakuwa tishio kwako?
Sikuwa naona mtu, lakini nilikuja tu nijikuje nichipime.
Unaona hii ndio mara yako ya kwanza kushiriki stand chart?
Hapana. Hii ni mara ya 3.
Namba ngapi?
Nilishiriki 2015, nikakuwa namba 3, 10K. Alafu 2016 nikashiriki half marathon, nikakuwa namba 2. Saa hii ni 10K, nimeshinda.
There were concerns about the organization of the marathon because there was some confusion at the finish line, rather on how one is supposed to finish and where one is supposed to register. So we spoke to Barnabas Korir from Athletics Kenya, and this is what he had to say about the 15th edition of the Stand Chart Nairobi Marathon.
You saw the turnout. It was actually one of the biggest participants so far. And although there were some few challenges at the finish line, I think it was a very good experience for us. And it gives us also a few lessons on how we have to manage it next time. We had many races, the 21K, 42K, 10K, 5K, and also the CEO's run. So putting up such a race in one is not easy, but eventually we had it done. I think we have already had short discussions with the CEO Standard Chartered and also the event organizer. We are going to sit down and map out the way for next year, because we need to make it successful, especially for participants, so that when they come, they know that when they finish, they get their results on time. They know how fast they have run. We don't want to have a mix-up, and I think this is a good lesson for us. We don't want to make the same mistakes. This is a very nice place to start and finish, because it has an open area. So we have learned a lot, and I think next time when the Kenyans come, we want even to double the numbers, but we will deliver a race that will be a good memory for them. Kenya is a country of huge talent. It's unlike any other country in the world. And athletics is deeply rooted in this country. There are so many people who are interested in running, especially from the regions that they normally turn. So we have new talent emerging every year. And those who win this race will go out there and win also major marathons and become successful. So this is an opportunity for the young people, the upcoming, who want to run in either the 10K, 21K, or 42. And they always do well. And of course, running a marathon in high altitude is not like running New York or Boston or London where it's low altitude. It's very difficult. And I keep credit the hard work they have been doing. And I'm sure with the success of today, will propel them for the future competitions. Yes, of course, they have ADAC, which is Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, which is mandated to do testing for top athletes. The athletes who participate are aware that when you compete here, you have to undergo testing to make sure you don't use any banned substances. So they are aware, and those who came, I'm sure they came clean. And if somebody makes a mistake to have done anything that is not acceptable, definitely they will be caught. And I would want to send a message that the way we are doing things now, at least Kenya, ADAC, and also World Anti-Doping Agency, including AIU, Athletes Integrity Unit, we are working together as a team to ensure that we eradicate doping in this country. So we are very serious about that, and the action we will take is going to be really merciless. We will continue educating our athletes to make sure that we clean our name in the world, because we are respected because of athletics, and we want to make sure we go back to where we had the respect before. We don't want to be doubted. Whenever we win a championship, you saw the way Eliud Kipchoge won the marathon and breaking the world record. We want them to maintain their integrity and respected worldwide, knowing that they do not use any substances that is not allowed.
We also had a chance of speaking to Lamin Majak, who's the CEO for StanChart here in Kenya, and this is what he has to say about the ambition the bank has for this marathon, that is the Nairobi Marathon, and what they are going to do to make it better. Remember, this year, 25,000 people turned out, take part in it, and remember the contributions from this marathon goes towards the Seeing is Believing initiative, and this is what he had to say.
I took part in the CEO race, which is a race that we started about 3 years ago. It's a fun race. It's basically to get my fellow CEOs to be a part of this great marathon. This time we had 2 governors who participated. Obviously, Governor Mike Sonko was here. And then we had the governor of Machakos who was also part of that race. So I think it was great fun, and overall it's been a great success.
Over the years, it has always been each year a record number of attendance, probably from the projections. How many people attended today's race?
Well, officially we have about 19,500 who registered. But as you know, the marathon is so popular, the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon is so popular that a number of people just show up. Even if they haven't registered, they still come to participate and to enjoy themselves. So the numbers would easily be closer to 23,000, 24,000 if you add all of those people who come in. Yeah.
So from there, now we talk about the elite athletes. What have you seen in terms of talent?
Well, obviously, every year we see new talent coming up. The marathon is very unique in the sense that every year you get new winners emerging in the elite category, the 42 kilometers, and of course the 21 kilometers. And this year was no exception. We've also got new winners that have emerged. And typically these people end up now going to other marathons globally and doing extremely well. So we look forward to their success in those marathons.
Let's talk about Seeing is Believing. People out there, probably there are those who don't know that, the process from this go to Seeing is Believing. If you can elaborate more about that.
Well, the Seeing is Believing is the initiative that Standard Chartered Bank took way back in 2003. We saw that blindness is a huge problem in many countries. And most of that blindness can actually be either prevented or cured. So we took it upon ourselves as a bank to contribute with other partners to make sure that we do something about blindness. And we call it Seeing is Believing. Now, globally, we have raised $100 million to fight blindness. And Kenya, the marathon that we have initiated since 2003, all the proceeds that we raise actually goes into that Seeing is Believing pot. Kenya is among the top 5 contributors towards that Seeing is Believing initiative in the group.
The Nairobi Marathon is not the only StanChart marathon that we have in the world. How can you compare these to the 10 other marathons that we have out there?
Well, okay, we have three other marathons for Standard Chartered. We have the Standard Chartered Hong Kong Marathon, the Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon, the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon, and then the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. So these are the four big marathons that we run as a group. And as I said, all the proceeds from these marathons really goes towards that Seeing is Believing initiative. Yeah.
So the 15th edition is done. What should you expect now next year?
Well, bigger and better. Every year we aim to make this bigger and better because it is for a good cause. And also, sports has the ability to unite people. Last year, when the country was tense, when there was a lot of anxiety, we held the marathon. We had to delay it a little bit, but we held the marathon. And seeing everybody, all the Kenyans from all walks of life, all corners of the country coming together and participating in the marathon is just a sign of what the power of this marathon to bring people together and unite them.
Well, those are the sentiments of the CEO for Standard Chartered Bank, Lamin Majang, on the ambitions the bank has to make this marathon better and bigger in the future, and also how it's helping the initiative of Seeing is Believing campaign. Now, remember, this year, this marathon has always had a reputation. Each year, a new champion. And that continued today as we saw Elisha Kiprop and Josephine Chepkoech come in as the winners. And they will be walking home with 1.5 million Kenya shillings. And of course, now people will be looking forward to the next year's edition. That will be the 16th edition of this marathon, to see if that reputation goes on. Back to you, Moses.
Thank you very much, Robinson Okenya, there in a detailed way.